Hi, everybody. My name is Abby. My friend Opal, who's also in line, and I went last week to the border, to El Paso, to Clint for the 4th of July. We're holding up signs and banners and such. On our way there, we found out about a crowdfunding movement called Citizen Presence, hashtag Citizen Presence, that's to help people get down there. And so on our way back, we were thinking about how we could do more of that. You know, could we rent a van? Could we take people down in larger numbers? And so my question was, do you all know of other people doing that who we should be talking to? And I should say, if anybody here tonight is interested in that, please feel free to come by and talk to me. But also, like, do you think that an action like that is impactful? And if so, how could it be the most impactful? Like, what do we do, you know?
I mean, I've been down to the border a number of times, and I'm in pretty good contact with a lot of the attorneys that are down there. It's a tricky situation for regular people because any sort of behavior that you engage in could be considered human trafficking. We've actually seen a number of volunteers that have been prosecuted by the Trump administration for leaving water for folks. So it's tough. I would be interested to talk to you more after too about what you saw, because sort of on the U.S. side, we've got all these private prisons and these really sealed facilities. So it's a little opaque in terms of like what you can see and how you can have an impact. In Mexico, I mean, the most amazing thing for me, and I'm sure that you saw the same, is that on the U.S. side, it can be heavily fortified. It feels as if we're like about to be invaded by some great army. When you go into Mexico, people are just very calm, you know, sitting at cafes. And supposedly on that side is what we're waiting for. But there's really nothing over there. It's just sort of a dog and pony show for the people in Kansas. So, you know, down at the border, I know a lot of people want to take action, but I think that it's a pretty tough place to make an impact. Here in Baltimore, there are a lot more opportunities that you can dig into. And I think that it's really more meaningful in some ways to make an impact in Baltimore, in that you're helping your neighbors, you know, and that begins to integrate the community and bring ties between us. That's the real reason that I want to help immigrants, and I imagine most of you do too, is that you really feel a bond between them as fellow human beings and fellow Baltimoreans.
Yeah, and I think it's important to be a proponent of certain laws that are being passed and participate more in Washington and at the city level and support rallies that are actually changing laws. While I do think it is meaningful to go to the border, to see the situation, and maybe support laws down there in those states, I think it's also important to recognize that things you do in Washington, which is close to here, and things you do in Baltimore are also extremely impactful for the immigrant community.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your question.
Yes, please.
Hi, I'm Cindy Farquhar, and thank the four of you for what you brought us tonight. In terms of Baltimore, the two things I'm wondering about are, number one, even people who don't speak Spanish, going to arraignments, that may not be the right word, or magistrates' appointments with immigrants to ask for more time to prepare their case, because I understand that people who are not private immigration lawyers, in other words, NGOs who do this, are booked for months and months ahead. You can't even get in the door to see these people. So that would be the one thing, is for people to go with immigrants and just simply be saying to the judge, this person cannot build a case to defend their right to be here, to be a relief seeker, until there is something more that can be done for them. That's one. The other one is that there are groups in many cities from the border to here which help people along the way. bus groups. So if you all know of bus groups, if the possibility exists in Baltimore, I wonder, especially I'm looking at CASA, if you all are interested in doing things about bus groups, which would consist of a greeter who can speak to the migrants and a group of providers who can provide things along the way, be it all the way from coffee to winter coats when it was winter. Thank you.
Yeah, so there is a group in Baltimore that is already doing something like that in both of those senses, in terms of accompanying people to their court appointments and also assisting with bus routes and things of that nature. They're called sanctuary streets. So if you are interested in volunteering in that regard, I would definitely reach out to sanctuary streets.
And as far as, I don't know if, I think your question asked about legal representation. And last year, the city launched a program called Safe City Baltimore, where they partnered with groups like Care Coalition to provide free legal representation for city residents that are undocumented, that are facing legal proceedings.
And I understand they're totally booked through October.
Okay.
So, I mean, if you want to go to court with an immigrant and represent them at trial table, and you don't have a law license and you don't speak Spanish, that is about to become possible in Baltimore. We need people to do it. Yeah, it's going to be really cool. Baltimore is going to be one of the first places that does it. We're going to have to be very smooth and delicate about the way that we do it. There's going to be a fair amount of training because we want it to work and we want it to be an example for the rest of the country. The folks that are being classified as family units right now by the Trump administration they're attempting to force them to go to trial in an asylum case in under a year. They don't have the money to do that, and it's really difficult to get evidence out of El Salvador in that time frame. So we are going to be training people to go to court with immigrants, even if they don't speak Spanish. The other thing that you can do is we're going to be sending people into court to just count different outcomes. So you're going to have an app, and you can just listen to what the person says, listen to what the judge says, record it, upload it. That sort of data is super important. And it's something that doesn't require you to have to go up to trial table or speak Spanish. The whole court is in English. So there's two super meaty opportunities for people that want to do direct service, and we need your help in Baltimore. When can you get trained to do it? This month. Yeah. So if you send a message to Sanctuary Streets on Facebook and sign up, we'll have you be one of the people that get trained for either one of those opportunities.